that up to your standards?
No.
Okay, so this is Seeking Sister Wives, Season 3, Episode 5. Sharing is caring. And
well, alternatively, how boring can we make this?
Well...
Pretty boring, turns out.
So I actually have a full face of makeup because I have Zoom meetings all day. This is my best attempt, so if you're dissatisfied, then, I don't know, send me to makeup school. Anyway, so with this episode we have the 4 families. We have the Snowdens, Joneses, Clarks, and Merrifields. Who do you want to start with?
I don't care.
Do you want to start with the magician? I actually am starting to feel bad for them because it's like they went on national TV to get repeatedly dumped. Like...
It's kind of, I mean... It was pretty boring.
It was, I mean, it was really boring, but it was like, also like a little sad because it's like, here's this guy supposed to have all this swagger.
Basically, on the computer, COVID's really messed up our dating life.
Yeah. So they're the first couple to show the COVID thing. So they were the ones who went and saw Faith, the bartender, who did not look that interested besides being on TV. And then, of course, when they weren't filming, she was a little less interested. Shocking. Then they went out with Elena, who owns her own business, and I'm like, that she wants to promote on TV.
Yeah, right.
And they went on a date, which was not filmed. Afterwards, he sent his girlfriend, his wife, however you think of her, I don't think they're legally married,
person,
but away, Tasha, and then he kissed her, and then they had a follow-up with the camera, and she's like, yeah, I'm not, and I guess she had been in a polygamous relationship, but somehow she still said it wasn't the lifestyle for her. So then they go online. It's just, it's like, I told John, it's like, have you ever been with a group of people and you have like one friend who just constantly is striking out spectacularly? That's like them. 2 of them went on TV.
Not so spectacular.
I mean, it's not even exciting enough to be interesting. It's just kind of where you're a little like cringe, like, ooh. Isn't that what you said? You said it was cringe? Look at us using modern words, modern hip words. Anyway, so that's the Joneses. I don't think they're getting anywhere. I don't think this is... I mean, at least it shows the other side of polygamy, which is just because you want a second wife doesn't mean any second wife wants you. Then, I'm going to go to the Clarks.
Which ones are those?
Gerard, Vanessa, and Kaylee.
That doesn't help.
That is the bodybuilder.
Oh, okay.
And his wife, and the girl who looks like maybe their adopted child. Like, the age difference is really noticeable. She said yes, sir, to him, which is like, ooh, like sets off all of my, like, maybe that's a regional thing. You don't say that in California to your boyfriend or to-be husband. I found it super uncomfortable. John, this is where you say something.
If I had something to say, it was so boring.
And then he calls her an attack dog, which you said is like one step away from calling her a bitch.
I mean...
I don't think I would be...
I'd be really careful straddling that line.
I don't think anyone could refer to me as a attack dog and have positive connotations. Like, unless it was like something about my child. Then maybe it's a positive connotation, but they don't have children. And then this whole thing, you need to spend more time with the family. And she's like, okay, I will. It's like, okay, good, so you're going to quit the second job? She's like, oh no, I'm going to the second job. Like, I got to hustle. And I'm like, definitely I would not put all of my eggs into the basket of the plural family. Like, you got a mission in life, you go for it. So that's, I mean, I told you my opinion, which is they got cast, and then she kind of pseudo left, and then she kind of had to come back, and they're going to try to, well, can we work on it for the show? Sure, we'll work on it. But I kind of feel like this is the thing where if it wasn't for the show, she would have already been gone. I don't know. That's just my opinion. There's no evidence to that other than their dynamics are so bizarre. And it's so cringy. And both of them look so much older than her. And...
they don't even live together, so there's that.
Yeah, okay. There's all of that. They're like
Moving on.
It's the wrong way. So then let's cut to the Snowdens, Dimitri, Ashley, and their new girlfriend. I got a little heat for saying that I thought he was a trust fund baby. The reason I said that is because I know a lot of trust fund babies.
Nobody cares.
Well, I know a lot of trust fund babies who get their money from their parents, and they all are like they have a job, but they're you never see them working at it.
They have a job. They have a job.
You know, occasionally a few months a year. They have a job when they feel like working on it. And he just has that idle, rich energy. Now, maybe he works 80 hours a week and then the show comes and he stops. But this idea that he's going to be having, according to Taylor, sex in the morning with her. And then while they're making dinner, he's having sex with Chrissy. And then I guess in the evening, he's having sex with Ashley. That does not strike me as someone who's working.
That conversation was super boring.
Oh my, yeah. They somehow managed to make penis sharing boring. They're talking about all this stuff about his penis. And then there's a whole analogy. Oh my gosh, this whole analogy about how if I saw a woman in need, I would share with her. And I'm like, yeah, I'd help her with resources, food, clothing, not my husband's penis. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of important issues around this topic of people in need, and nowhere at any point has anybody said, think of the vaginas that are in need. Sorry, this is so crude, but the conversation was so bizarre. It was so bizarre. Anyway, but my point was, I cannot think of a man who has 3 children that he is spending time with, 3 women he is servicing daily, and is holding down a full-time job. The poor man is going to be dehydrated.
Dude, that guy is too fit to have a full-time job.
Anyway.
Just what it is.
But he could definitely be a genius.
I'm sure he's bright, and it sounds like he's in the AI stuff, so that's probably where a ton of their money is coming from.
He definitely does have some Elon Musk energy, which is like, I don't know how Elon Musk has all this time to be on,
but that dude works out.
He does work out. Are you thinking of Dimitri?
Yes.
Okay, just checking, just making sure you weren't getting confused with Gerard.
Dude, that dude's a tank.
No, he's a tank.
Gerard, yeah.
Oh, okay. But Dimitri's just fit.
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah. So anyway, heavy convo about work. What is that about?
Nobody cares.
Oh, so yeah. So anyway, they have him. She's like all in. They go to an art night. It was so boring. And then they went. Ashley and Taylor went to throw axes, and they had this whole weird. The penis sharing discussion, which was somehow both incredibly awkward and boring. Normally you go into one or the other.
I mean, at least give me some major credit. It was just so boring and dull and...
Yeah, then they had a detailed discussion about what they can and can't do. Hands under the shirt is no. Saliva swapping is a yes. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want to have this conversation.
Why do you have to describe it like that? It's so gross.
Yeah. Anyway... Now back to the main train wreck, the one that you see coming and you're like, oh, this is so bad.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah, someone called him a Joel Osteen.
I can't unsee that.
If you don't know, Joel Osteen is like a really white-toothed TV evangelist whose God is like Santa Claus and all that. Anyway, it's Osteen, not Osteen.
What? I don't care. He's a crook.
Anyway, but he was on... If anyone doesn't know, needs a more pop culture reference, they mocked him in the True Blood series. Anyway, the pastor of eternal light or something. Anyway, let's get the Merrifields, Roberta, Garrick, and Danielle. Garrick did speak directly to Danielle in this episode, but it was still ultra creepy and like
pretty
an
rude.
Awkward uncle as opposed to a spouse, like someone who's been with for 10 years, 13 years, whatever, has 2 children with. He's talking to her more like a confirmed bachelor talking to a 5-year-old, like, hey, buddy, everything good with you? You seem a little upset. Buck up, kiddo. We really care about you. I mean, it's just that energy, right? I feel like you're not here and fully engaged, John.
I'm thinking about what to say, and it's totally not appropriate.
Okay, then maybe not.
It's like... You gave the hooker the money, but she's sticking around.
Oh, that is awful.
And that is what it is. I mean, what it looks like.
It definitely has that energy.
It's like, there's like one person in that relationship that wants to be around, and it ain't Joel Osteen.
Yeah, so they're talking to her about her jealousy, and she's like, I already worked through this, so I don't want to bring it up again, but she's like crying. And then, I think it was the preview, not the episode, where she said, well, if it was up to me, we wouldn't do polygamy. And it's like, oh... We knew that. That's not a shock to any viewer. But...
Apparently that's better than divorce.
But it's also one of those things where you go, if you know that, which we all knew, we saw that, your family saw that, don't you see this is just not going to work for you? So anyway, Roberta is really concerned with Danielle being happy. Roberta tells Danielle that they had sex that first night, and Danielle's like, oh, okay, and she's like, I just don't kind of know when it happened, and Garrick seems really concerned with Roberta's feelings, and then he's like, I think it's time for me to have Roberta alone. I'm like, okay, serial killer, like, let's just take that vibe down. And I get that some of the way they're talking is about the translation app, like making sure it's clear enough for the translation app, but I'm like, did you have to lean fully into creepy? Time for me to have some alone time with Roberta. Like, it's just so anyway.
Is that really something that needed to be translated? You only needed to tell large wife that to go away.
Which we're using that ironically, she's not a large wife, but if he's going to call
According
her
to
that,
him.
According to him, I know.
Got large and small wife.
No, I think it's like large and tiny or delicate or somehow he made it even worse.
Something crazy.
Anyway, so she's doing this interview. She's with the camera people, and then there's like a cutaway that Garrick heard she's upset. That's very nice of the editors, so he wanted to come check on her. But it doesn't have that energy that he's so concerned. It has more of a, he's concerned she's going to rock the boat energy, or Roberta was concerned because of her, or something. I don't get this whole, like, they're already having sex, but she's so concerned about Danielle. I don't, shocking to say I don't understand their polygamy. Anyway, she's worried. They're doing this whole baby maker thing. It's like so uncomfortable. They're talking about protection, and I'm just like, oh gosh. I thought that the sex talk with the Snowdens was about as awkward as it could get, and I was so wrong. The Merrifields take it to a new level.
Just waiting for him to say, "Hey, we hold the camcorder, honey."
Oh gosh! Can you get it? Go to the sex store. We have this list, and it like unrolls like a list of things they're gonna need.
I mean, at least that would have been entertaining, unlike this show.
Anyway, so that's the episode so far. Tell us what we forgot, because we always forget something.
Or
Okay,
don't.
bye.